Hello and welcome to another edition of Another Book Review. This week I'll be reviewing Shirley Jackson's That We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Talk very briefly about the author, give a spoiler-free overview of the plot, talk about what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, finish off with who I'd recommend the book to, and what I'll be reading for next time. Shirley Jackson is primarily known as a horror author. She published in the first part of the 20th century. She passed away, I believe, in the mid-60s. This is her final novel. For the channel, I reviewed The Haunting of Hill House by her earlier, and I'll leave a link to the video in the comment section below, so if you want to check that out, you can. This book, We Have Always Lived in the Castle, follows three main characters, Mary Catherine, her sister Constance, and their uncle Julian, who all live in a family estate in a small town. Prior to the beginning of the novel, 6 years before, Constance was put on trial for murdering her family. She murdered, the charges were she murdered them during dinner time by poisoning them. She was acquitted. Because of this, the rest of the family has disdain for them, and the two groups, the townspeople and the family, there's a lot of distrust and animosity towards one another. And the plot really follows the characters, the three characters, as they kind of go about their day-to-day lives. Every once in a while, there are some townspeople that they are friends with or friendlier with, who they interact with for tea and whatnot. About halfway through the book, a distant family member comes and visits them, and that kind of snowballs and kind of leads to a climax in the novel. I'll try to be vague, not to give away any spoilers, but that's essentially what happens. For me, the best part of the book is Shirley Jackson does a really good job of setting a tone where she has a theme of just kind of the terror being the small-mindedness of people, and she kind of follows that throughout. And anytime that the two sisters, Mary Catherine, who in the novel is 18, she's the one who does most of the day-to-day interactions with the townspeople. Anytime that she interacts with the townspeople, you get the sense of unease and distrust between both groups, and it comes through really, really strong. I think the book has kind of a slow burn quality to it, which I enjoyed. So you're kind of wondering exactly what happened with this family, how people died, why they died, and all that stuff. And she's really good at kind of dragging out that tension and making you really feel it. Some of the things I maybe enjoyed a little bit less. The book isn't super plot heavy. A lot of it is really just kind of following Mary Catherine as she kind of goes along. She's 18, but she kind of has the mindset of a child in some ways. She kind of talks a lot about living on the moon and living in the forest and doing these things, which was kind of a little frustrating at times when you're trying to get answers from the book. And the book doesn't always give you clear-cut answers of exactly what is going on and what happened, and I thought that ambiguity, I think, in some points was really frustrating. The character of Uncle Julian, because he survived the poisoning, but he was poisoned, it's kind of left him in a state where his mental facilities aren't quite there. So he'll say things, and you're not quite sure if he knows what he's saying or he doesn't know what he's saying, and so it kind of led to the overall ambiguity of the book. The book is relatively short. It's only about 150 pages, but it definitely feels its length, where there are parts of it, because it's not super plot heavy, you definitely feel yourself having to kind of pull through it. But I would recommend it to people who are fans of Stephen King especially. He's kind of talked about Shirley Jackson being an influence of his. If you've read The Lottery, the kind of famous short story of hers, and you liked it, I would definitely check it out. But that's what We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And next time I'm going to be reading The War of the Encyclopedists. And until next time, please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and feel free to leave me a comment section in the comment section below if you've read We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Overall, like I said, it was written a little bit, it feels in some ways like it could have been written in the 1800s. The plot, like I said, isn't super, doesn't pull you all the way through. There are parts of it where you're just like, I'm waiting for stuff to happen. It's just really kind of the description of the house, the description of the day-to-day interactions of these characters, which wasn't always the most exciting thing. But I think the ability for her to set the tone, I thought, was really strong. But like I said, that's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Until next time, bye.